In the heart of the Negev desert, on the top of a steep hill, lie the ruins of an ancient, mysterious, and lost civilization. We are in the ancient Nabatean city of Avdat. This city has been untouched since the 7th century. The Nabateans were a very mysterious group of nomads who knew ancient secret trade routes that allowed them to be the only ones to trade spices, in turn making them rich enough to build an entire empire, and their kingdom capital was Petra. But here is where it gets strange. The Nabateans appeared for only a few centuries into human history. In the 4th century, they mysteriously vanished, leaving only ruins behind them. This left historians with many questions. Who were they, and could some of the legends be true about them being connected to the wise men that came to visit Jesus after his birth? And what could have caused their disappearance? Welcome to Avdat. This is the Nabatean settlement. You can see the bigger part of these ruins is the Roman part. Off to the side and nearly untouched since they lived here is the Nabatean part. Some parts of the Roman ruins is built over top of the Nabateans' constructions, and you can see where the Romans had just built on top of their foundations.
Wow, this is a place in the desert. There's so much history here. And a little mystery too. See the line? Down below is the Nabateans. Above is the Romans.
Wow.
And so the rocks are the same rock, but they form them different.
Absolutely. Plus you can see here ruins of the Byzantine era where they built churches here. You can see in these ruins that it was a busy city and filled with life. You can see where the marketplace was, and most likely where they would sell the spices that they were known for trading at that time. Well, you know what this looks like, Mama?
What does it look like?
This looks like the marketplace where they would have sold their spices and stuff that they were known for trading. In the 3rd century AD, they had built here the city's fortress. And as you can see, it is quite the fortress, big and very well built. I bet you this was a cistern or something, Mama.
It looks like it could be.
Yeah, I can see over there. If you can see right over there, you can see some underground plumbing, it looks like. You see that right over there, Mama?
Yeah.
Coming out right there?
Yeah.
And that's probably what this was, some underground plumbing and a cistern. Yeah, it was a cistern for sure. Now I can even see this. Yeah, absolutely. This is more plumbing they had. They would have an easy time controlling this area, being so high up and having great visibility. As we walk around here, we see the church that was built in the 4th century. We can clearly see the crosses and inscriptions that they had put in place. Look at here, Mama. Crosses still carved in here.
Amazing.
Wow.
And
Thousands
there's
of
several
years ago.
things carved in.
From the early Christians right there.
From
Carving,
early Christians.
carved a cross right there.
It's amazing.
See here, Mama? More crosses right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if how well you guys can pick that up.
This one they might can see that. No.
Well, look at this. You got a menorah here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with the shamash. So it's a menorah and a cross in Greek. So if anyone knows Greek, see if you can write a comment below. Tell us what it says. It's amazing. It was a Nabatean temple that was converted into a Byzantine church. Right here's a map that shows the road that we're on now, the road that you see here now. And you can still see it out there where it represented here the old trade route that they used to use, the Nabateans used to use from that's the direction to Petra right there. And if you look right out there, you can still see some old ruins on the old road. This was the northern church, huh, Mama?
That's what it said at
The lost civilization of Nabateans seems to appear a few centuries before the birth of Christ, and then a few centuries later disappeared from the face of the earth. They left nearly no written records behind them, making it very difficult for historians to figure out their origins, practices, history, or even reason for their disappearance. Now, their disappearance may not have been so mysterious or even noticed if they haven't left behind such a great empire. They developed trade routes in northern Arabia and even as far as India. They had secret knowledge of water reservoirs in the deadly barren desert that gave them a monopoly in these trade routes. They had acquired so much wealth that they were able to make the magnificent hidden city of Petra carved out of the bedrock. But who are they and where did they come from? Well, whoever they were, they seem to have played an interesting role in Israel. They appeared when the Jewish people were taken into Babylonian exile, and they disappeared from the land around 4th century. It seems as if many of them had converted to Christianity. So who were they and why all the mysteries around their history? Looky here, Mama. Look at this wine press. You can tell by these are like the stores, the little storage rooms. You can see how the floor ramps up here. So it keeps all the grapes and stuff in here. And then when they wanted, they pour it down in here, all the grapes, and have the wine press and press the wine, maybe with their feet like they usually did. But also it looks like the spot for put a piece of big piece of wood and maybe a press and run it around. And then right here, I don't know if you can see it, but right here would drain off down into here, into the wine. So this was what this was. This was wine press. Yeah, a really big one. They must have made a lot of wine. Maybe that's what they also traded and everything, or used for religious ceremonies or whatever. Well, right here, down off the hill, a good ways away, is where they had their burial caves. So they put it at a good distance away, I guess. Makes sense to me. Let's go in and see what it looks like. Well, you can definitely see in here all these caves, and it looks like to me there would have been probably a few. You see, like, let's take this one as an example. The grave probably would have been down in there. You can see here how they had slots. They probably slid something to cover that one up. Then they had slots here, put another one. Maybe, this is all guessing, maybe another good body here, so on and so forth. That's what it looks like. But it's nice and cool in here in the middle of the summer. Wow. Well, here is an interesting theory that I tend to agree with, and why not? Because it makes a lot of sense. This theory suggests that they were a much more of a famous and significant people than we thought. This theory states that the three wise men that visited Jesus after the birth were Nabateans. This theory really does make a lot of sense. After all, the wise men came from the east, Petra in Jordan, which is the east of Israel. Also, they brought gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These were the same goods and products that they were taking and had great quantities of as they were trading in them. In Isaiah 60, verse 6 and 7, and I'll read, "The multitude of camels shall cover thee, the dromedaries of Midian and Ephraim, all they from Sheba shall come. They shall bring gold and incense, and they shall shew forth the praises of the Lord. The flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Nebaioth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance and mine altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory." In verse 7, it says the word Nebaioth. Is it just a coincidence that the name of this people is so close to the name of Nebaioth? Maybe this even explains their disappearance. It could be that their entire culture and reason of existence was to wait for the coming of the Messiah, and as soon as their purpose was fulfilled, they just moved on. This has been a blessing to make for you guys, as usual. Don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com. And until next week, God bless.